Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the end of Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers. Let's check this out.
That the Steelers have looked into trading for Brandon Aiyuk. Aiyuk himself tweeting to Mike Tomlin.
Remember, Deebo Samuel looked like he was history, and he's not. He's still on the team.
But we've also seen a lot of these cases with a receiver or just a player in general does something like this, and then the coach will come out and say, oh, he's not getting traded, blah 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 blah, and then next thing you know, like a couple weeks later, bro gets traded, and not even like for a high draft pick or anything, like gets traded for like a 5th or 6th or 7th round pick and stuff like that. So
I guess hearing those comments,
you can never really take these like too lightly or too serious, bro. Like, you just gotta just let things just
Brandon Aiyuk's
play out.
Family, his sister, his brother, putting stuff out on social media that makes it sound like former Arizona State Sun Devil Brandon Aiyuk doesn't necessarily want to be a part of the San Francisco 49ers organization any longer.
Now, as we all know, the situation with the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk is a little bit sticky right now. And really, nobody knows what is going on in this scenario.
Bro got a nice kitchen, though.
I do know is that the Niners need to move on from Brandon Aiyuk as soon as possible.
Is your hope to remain with the 49ers?
Oh yeah, I remember this clip.
Ever since his cryptic post on social media right after the Super Bowl, it's been really confusing, saying, don't forget what you got there. His girlfriend added fuel to the fire with a TikTok video hinting at a potential departure from the Bay Area.
Well, okay, this might have been the last day we touched foot on Levi Stadium, me and Braylon, because
she said Braylon.
Aiyuk's best friend was even more explicit, teasing a move to the Las Vegas Raiders with the tantalizing phrase, BA to Vegas. And while not many people do know what's going on in this scenario or this situation, one thing is very clear. Brandon Aiyuk is not happy with his money that he's earning. And it's become clear that his future in San Francisco is hinged on one single factor, a new contract. Since coming into the league, Aiyuk has only gotten better and better inside of this.
Not for real. Look at this, bro. Like every single season, it's like, so the first season he had 748 yards. That went up over like almost over 100 the following year, and then it went up over 200 the next year, and then it went over 300 in 2023, over 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Like, bro has been balling out.
Drafted so late in one of the deepest wide receiver draft classes ever. After posting back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, with 2023 being a breakout season for him with 1,342 yards and 7 touchdowns, he is seeking a lucrative long-term extension for roughly about $28 million per year.
And he deserves it.
Been saying. And look, to pay a guy like Aiyuk that much money, that would put him as, I believe, the 3rd highest paid wide receiver in
Shit, he deserves it, bro.
Type of money, only behind Devontae Adams, who makes the same amount of money, and Tyreek Hill, who makes $30 million a year. And look, I'm just gonna be frank.
Now tell me he don't deserve all that money, though.
Of money, like with all those other guys that are on the roster, like CMC, Deebo Samuel, who they just paid, and George Kittle, I don't really think there's a reason to pay Aiyuk. Which, if that's the
case, and they can replace him this year in the draft.
The question,
and one of the deepest, I really think this is the deepest wide receiver draft class of all time.
Have made a bold move,
100%.
They are willing to entertain trade offers for their prized wide receiver. But the sad fact is, though, is they're not going to let him go cheaply. Their asking price is a steep one. Like, I mean, they're asking for a 1st-round pick in the 2024 draft. But I mean, who knows? Teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots, and Jacksonville Jaguars all have been rumored to Aiyuk, each seeking to bolster their passing attack with his game-breaking talents. And I mean, 2 of those teams, with the Steelers and Patriots, are going to get new quarterbacks. So having a guy like Aiyuk,
I would love, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, I would love to see him on the Patriots. And then like whoever they draft at QB, that's gonna be like that. It would be them finally doing something to help out a young QB, because that they have not been doing that these last couple of seasons.
Quarterbacks. And don't get me wrong either, if the Niners can't sign him, they do have a contingency plan with the franchise tag, but we all know how that goes with 49ers receivers being put on the franchise tag. By invoking this option in 2025, they could keep Aiyuk in San Francisco for another year, albeit for a hefty price tag for around $21 million, which I mean, it's a high stakes stakes gamble, one that could buy more time for negotiations or set the stage for a terrible departure. And like, I mean, even if he doesn't like that number of $21 million, on top of this, if he chooses to hold out, then he's not going to be playing in games, and it's really just a wasted roster spot that, I mean, you could dump that contract and pick up talent for this draft in a very stacked wide receiver class. Like, I mean, the late guys in this first round and even second round that you can pick up are going to be stellar. Like guys like Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Ladden, even a big-bodied wide receiver like Keon
Coleman. I want him to be a Raven, bro. I want Keon Coleman to be a Raven so bad, bro. It's crazy.
I do think that there are some fairly good suitors that I did mention before in the Patriots and Steelers, but a few other ones too that might low-key be on the radar, but really nobody's sure about. This one's probably the least likely of the bunch, but I mean, the Arizona Cardinals do have very ample cap space and they need a top receiver. So I mean, it could be a perfect fit, and he was from ASU, so I mean, he probably does like.
Bro, I just thought of something too. Imagine Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Brandon Aiyuk. Oh my gosh, bro. I mean, that would be a nasty setup. That would be a nasty setup, bro.
Take Harrison Jr. But I think the most interesting one that probably I could see happening could be with the Washington Commanders. They have the most cap space in the league and could offer Aiyuk the lucrative deal that he's
that would be crazy. Hey, if the Commanders do that, that's gonna be nasty as well, because whoever they draft, either Jaden Daniels, it's probably going to be Jaden Daniels, because, you know what I'm saying, he's definitely better than Drake May in my eyes. Jaden Daniels, and then you already got Scary Terry, you got Jahan Dotson, and then they just lost Curtis Samuel, so having Aiyuk come in and then Jahan Dotson like slide down to Curtis Samuel's spot, that would be a great great setup for them.
And I mean, if they take Jaden Daniels at 2, I mean, who knows if they do land him, that would just be such a big spot for Daniels then too, to be able to grow with Scary Terry and Aiyuk.
Bro, this is going to be a crazy offseason, bro. It was already crazy before.
Just does not want to be
shit is finna get real.
Like his own girlfriend, his friends and family are like doing this like sort of like campaign to get him to leave San Francisco and not come back. Like, it's just really strange and weird behavior to try and get him a new contract this way.
It is in the interest of Brandon Aiyuk's camp to see a little bit of drama happening right now, because drama means that the 49ers are more likely to start talking dollars.
But I mean, on the other hand, the Niners are very familiar with this type of contract negotiation style, you could say, if you want to call it that, with Deebo Samuel, who did hold out in familiar and similar fashion last year when he was trying to get paid as well. Like, the tendencies are very similar. I mean, Deebo Samuel unfollowed the team. Brandon Aiyuk recently just unfollowed the team. So, I mean, that's similar. But on top of that, too, if you look at it as well, Deebo held out until the end of July about. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Aiyuk did the about same thing, if not longer, until maybe the season even starts.
Damn.
Additionally, though,
at that point, they should just trade him if he's holding out that long.
They have actually helped pave the way for the 49ers to extend Aiyuk by resetting the wide receiver market value. However, Aiyuk will likely seek an even richer deal after his stellar 2023 campaign. But like, I mean, there is one major red flag here. Aiyuk is a cornerstone of this offense, a player whose talents have propelled them to the brink of a championship. And as Microphone stated in his video, Aiyuk is one of the best run blocking wide receivers in the NFL. And to have a guy in a system where they feed Deebo and CMC, and I mean, he blocks for them, but also has the capability to stretch the field and be a threat for them, it's important to have that guy inside this type of offense. But yet again, the financial realities of this whole situation cannot be forgotten. And I mean, the potential of a prolonged holdout seems like it's most likely going to be the case here. And I mean, the Niners are in a tough spot with John Lynch also saying what he's been saying, but I mean, more importantly though, the fact that if they keep Aiyuk and give up a lot of that cap space, as opposed to maybe looking for a trade, opening up that cap space, and just seeing what could happen if they did move Aiyuk, it could honestly shape the franchise's fortunes for years to come. But I think the official, like, if you want to call it checkmate here, is that he unfollowed the Niners social media which, as we all know, kind of just makes everybody lose their minds. We've seen it in basketball, baseball, all of that. Once a player does that, that's when things obviously start to go crazy on Twitter and everything. And now, yes, while in the past this does seem to typically turn out well for the team, and the player usually does come back to that team with the likes of like Kyler Murray, Deebo Samuel, other players we've seen in the past, I don't think that's going to be the case for Aiyuk here though. As I said earlier, Deebo is already a top 10 paid receiver, and having two of these guys on your roster just wouldn't be feasible in any way, shape, or form, especially when you have to pay Purdy in the next couple of years. You can't give up that kind of talent just to keep a guy like Brandon Aiyuk.
He's got no fifth-year option too.
Good in cap space and also make a playoff push. I think you.
So it would be smarter to trade him to be able to pay Brock Purdy.
I even say the Commanders and just take one in the draft. That would be like their dream scenario, I think. And this wouldn't be the first time we've seen this type of trade happen with wide receivers before. Look at the Cowboys when they traded Amari Cooper to the Browns, or even more recently when the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs, and then the Bills moved on from Diggs as well because they just had other guys to fill his role, and the offense was just going in a different direction, really. And yes, I know that his agent did come out and say that he did not request a trade formally, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Aiyuk, even if he doesn't come out and say it, he's definitely wanting to get either traded or something done soon, so that way he can just have this whole thing done with. No matter what though, I think it's going to be a really interesting scenario to see what happens with this whole Brandon Aiyuk situation. Does he stay in San Francisco? Does he get moved to like the Bills or the Commanders? Honestly, I don't know. I'm just excited to see what happens and what implications this has on the draft in about like 10 days. As always though, I want to know what you guys think. Where do you think
isn't the draft like next Thursday or something like that?
Do you think that he's going to stay in San Francisco and they're going to pay him a hefty amount? Let me know down in the comment section below, or even sound off in my Discord, which is in the link below as well. I'm going to be doing a NBA playoff bracket too, and the winner's going to get $40. Again, that's in my Discord link below. Make sure you join that, and we're just having a fun time in there, man. As always, I will.
Hey man, what you guys think Brandon Aiyuk was gonna go to? Hey, it would be very interesting to see him on the Commanders, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That the Commanders will be set for a long time if they're able to get Aiyuk and then pay him to have Aiyuk, Scary Terry, and Jaden Daniels in the same offense too. That would be pretty sick. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, turn on my post notifications, get notified whenever I drop another banger video. And without further ado, I'm out. Gang.